What's up, guys? I'm about to do this lower arm control. See, it's got a crack on it there. It's cracked, not a crack, it's cracked. Rubber is like cracked all over the place. Alright, so what I plan on doing, I'm just going to remove all these bolts here. Right over here. The bolts that hold the lower arm control. I'm going to remove this, the ball joint. I'm going to be removing this engine mount right there. Alright. And removing this mount right here. Before I do all this removing of the mounts, I'm going to be jacking up the engine a little bit from the bottom. And then just jack it up. Take these bolts out from here, from the mount. One back here. Top one here. And then just jack up the engine. And just slip it out. That's it. I'll let you know if that was successful. I know a lot of people, well, a lot of mechanics that take the cross member out from the bottom and all these extra stuff. But I don't believe all of that is necessary. For removing the bolts all the way, if you put a jack under the ball joint like that, it'll make it a lot easier to pull the bolt out. I mean, I have to spin it a little bit, you know what I mean? Either that or I'm gonna have to like start prying, putting something in between. But what I did was I just jacked it up to the point that it was loose enough, and I just gave it a couple of little twists, and it came out with no problem. Because by doing this, it aligns this platform here. See this here? It aligns this, and that way the bolt could be as straight as possible. This won't be crooked pressing up against the bolt. All right. I mean, that's what I did, and it worked for me. Because without the jack, this goes all the way down. Okay. This part over here goes all the way down. Forcing that right here, making this crooked, and causing the top here, where the hole for the bolt is, presses up against the bolt. All right. Loosened it up. Using this 3/4. Cracked it using the power bar. Cracked the nut. Now, just gonna use this. It's all right. I'm not in a rush. I could use a socket and just remove this cover. See, it's on the way right there. And I could also use a small one. I know that with a socket, but it's okay. I'm really not in a rush. It's a nice day out here. Kind of like a tricky thing I encounter. It's this bolt over here. See that? The sway bar. It's like right here in the way. So it's like to put a socket in there, it's gonna be a little tight. So I had to remove the sway bar link from the top so I could try to pry it here. See that hole right here? Wedge something in between there, pull it as I loosen it up. If you see from here, let me see if we can see how it's blocking. I don't know why this is so in the way like that, but let me see what I can wedge in there. See, I'm gonna have to wedge something in between there while so I can be able to sit the other socket in there. It's a little pain, man. It's not really a easy job to do like that on the floor, you know. That's why I was kind of like procrastinating a lot. You got to be mentally ready to do these jobs, man. It's a lot of taking apart. Yeah, this bolt, the one that goes back here on this one here. See, the one is slightly blocked by the sway bar. I had to pry this over a bit to be able to fit the and hold it at the same time with a pry bar, in order to so I could be able to get in there and have the socket straight on the bolt. And man, this thing was a big pain in the neck, man, because only because the bolt was pretty rusty in there. It was just pretty seized in there. And to be honest, I was getting ready to give up. I had about an hour into it. I banged my finger a couple of times using the power bar, so I could put power into it. I used the impact gun. And nothing, man, nothing. That bolt just didn't want to budge, man. I'm telling you, I was really getting ready to just give up, and I hate doing that. I was getting ready to go to take it to some mechanic that I know there, cause that's how tight it was. I'm telling you, like, it really wasn't easy. It was very, very tight. I was kind of like running out of options, you know. Then doing it here on the floor in this position made it even harder. But I took a break. I took like a 15-minute break, came back, kept putting lubricant, kept putting knocker loose. I put the socket on the bolt. I banged it a couple of times with the with this hammer. Banged it a couple of times. Then just got the socket really straight in there. Then it just started moving. So, and that was it. Finally decided to break loose and Finally got that out. So I got the motor mount nuts off already, and the bottom too. It's not easy doing this on the floor, man. I removed this one here already too for this motor mount. Remove that bolt. I loosened up the top one already. I got to slide that out. And yes, you can slide this out without removing the cowl. I think you do. I think you can. I hope I'm correct. There we go. Just takes a little work, man. Thing is, don't give up. Be persistent. When the challenge gets tough, you got to push at it. And here we go. Let's inspect this while we have it out. And it looks good. Slight little crack there, but other than that, pretty good. Pretty solid. So this is the one I'm going to be putting in there. It's a pretty solid piece, man. This is a Detroit axle one. Detroit axle type, and it feels pretty solid. So I figured how bad can it be? You know what I mean? Really feels like a nice solid piece. Not in weight, not just in weight, but as far as the bushings, they're pretty tight. So let's continue on here. Yeah, remember guys, whenever you're working on a vehicle, to use your jack stands also, okay, along with the jack. Equal weight on both, and make sure you got your car on the emergency brakes on, all right, so that way all the wheels can lock up, and you won't have to worry about the car sliding back or anything like that. All right, so let's continue. Now that everything's loose, I gotta start jacking up the car. Start jacking up the engine. Had to remove these bolts, and there's one nut there on the top right. I'm gonna have to remove the bracket that holds the motor mount. So I try to jack it up, and it just still wouldn't clear. So I didn't want to keep stressing the engine like that, you know. So I went up until it got kind of like, you know, till I kind of like couldn't anymore, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to force it past a certain point, you know. I felt the tension there, you know what I mean? So I'm just gonna remove this bracket right here, and that's it. Be on the safe side, you know. Make sure you don't get grease on the belt. If you do, just wipe it off with a rag. Yeah, there's a 14mm right here, back of the motor mount. It's a little, if it's tight, it's a little tough to get. It's easier to get it from this side, because that side has that, see that hump? It has like a hump over here on that side. I don't know if you can see it, but it has a clear path over here for the wrench. So I would say get it from this side. Let me see if I could show you what I mean. See, it has like a, it has like a little hump over here, metal. See, the metal is on the way. So here, it's clear. This side is clear. And just make sure you put anti-seize back in all these bolts. That way in the future you won't have such a hard time removing it, you know. Some of these parts could be really uncomfortable if the bolts are tight. And finally the part is out. Yeah, this thing was done. Just cracked here, all around. See the back? When I put force on it to pull it out of there, because you know, you got to give it a little pulling to take it out of there. That's when you can really see the rubber separating. So I had to take it out from the ball joint here. Had to remove it from the by taking out the lower ball joints. I got to remove this, but I don't have a wrench that fits this here, and really don't want to have to remove the axle. But let me see what I do. I'll probably just leave this in there for now and just worry about putting the lower arm control, which is the tough part, the toughest part to do. I've been on this for a lot of hours already, so I need to take a break anyway. So I think I'm just gonna put this new lower arm control and leave the ball joint for another day or something. You know what? After inspecting this this ball joint good, I don't even think I gotta replace this one. This is pretty stiff. See, look. So this is still good. I don't really feel any loose play in this, you know. So I can still use it for a while longer. Our new lower arm control is set in place. Now let's see how much of a struggle I'm gonna have putting in the bolts. Yeah, these bolts were very tight. I had to put a lot of penetration and had to lube it up nice and hit on the socket with a hammer a couple of times to loosen it up. Yeah, so as I said, I decided to go with the old ball joint, the lower ball joint. It was still good, so it doesn't really make any sense to replace it right now. I'm gonna put some anti-seize also in these bolts. I'm gonna put some around here also. Around here. There we go, to prevent it from sticking in the future. If I still have this vehicle by then. Alright, I'm gonna need 2 hands for this. Alright, almost done with the bolts. The bolts didn't really give me a big issue like that. This one a little bit, but I just hit it a little bit with the hammer. Hit it in here to get it aligned. Then after that, I just kind of like went in halfway, and then I went turning it the rest of the way. These here, they went in pretty easy. I didn't have a hard time with those. Put a lot of anti-seize on these bolts and nuts. Yeah, so if anything, just leave the if you're gonna do this job, just leave the ball joint for last. You know, to bolt it down and put it where it go. That way you can have some play with this, and it doesn't force this in any way that'll make these bolts be a little harder for you to put them in. Guys, I've been struggling with this back bolt, this 14mm bolt in the back here. So before you guys tighten up all the bolts, the bottom and everything for this mount, before you do all that, just make sure you put in this bolt back here, because I had to loosen up everything again, because this bolt was sticking all the way out. And wow, I've been struggling for about maybe half an hour trying to put this bolt back in. Then I couldn't really put the socket in between, in the back, because it was too close to the mount. It was pushed towards the mount too much. Yeah, so just leave everything loose and concentrate on this back one first. All right, once you have this snug almost all the way in, then you start doing the rest. And just do these on the top next. Then you leave the bottom ones for last. Alright guys, and the job is finished. Let me lower the Lower the engine back to where it's supposed to be. Was this an easy job? No, it wasn't. It was more of a real pain in the neck type of job. If you're not doing this on a lift, you're gonna go through a lot of trouble. Yep. It's just a pretty uncomfortable job. You know, putting this bracket here back on. It's just not really an easy job, you know. I've been messing with this since early today. Since about, been messing with this since like 11 o'clock in the morning. And it is now 6:47. Just so you can see what kind of a job this is. I did take like, I had to take like 15-minute breaks. Took about 4 15-minute breaks in between. I had to. I mean, look at this, messing like this on the floor. Sitting on a tire in this position. It's not an easy job. You know, for so many hours. So now you guys know. I hope I don't have to do the other side no time soon. Alright, your boy Gus. Until next time.